Welcome back to Cron Mastery, Lesson 3, where the syntax finally stops looking like noise. Cron really only has 5 small building blocks: an exact value, a wildcard, a list, a range, and a step, plus a handful of shortcuts like @daily for convenience. Once you see how those 5 shapes compose, every schedule on the right side of this slide becomes readable on sight. And that's exactly what we're going to do over the next few minutes. So here's the promise for the next few minutes. By the end, you'll be able to read a line like */15, 9-17, **1-5, and just hear it, every 15 minutes during business hours on weekdays. 4 skills get you there: reading any cron line on sight, writing the schedule you actually want, fluently combining lists, ranges, and steps, and knowing when those shortcuts help versus when they quietly bite you. And here are those building blocks, just 5 symbols that work in any of the 5 fields. A bare number means match exactly. A star means match anything. Commas give you a list of specific values. A dash gives you an inclusive range. And /n is a step, repeating every n from the bottom of the field. That's the entire grammar. Everything else you'll ever see in a cron line is just these 5, composed. Time to put that grammar to work. Cover the right column, read each line field by field, and translate it out loud: minute, hour, day of month, month, day of week. Notice how every schedule is just stars plus 1 or 2 specific values. A number locks midnight, a step gives you every 6 hours, a list pins the 1st and 15th, and a range carves out business hours on weekdays. Whatever isn't a star is what makes the line specific. Stay here until it clicks without thinking. Now, flip the exercise. Cover the left column, read the plain English requirement, and build the cron line yourself before you check the answer. Most of these fall out naturally. Pick the field that matters, drop in a value, list, range, or step, and leave the rest as stars. The one trap worth burning in: cron's smallest unit is a minute, so every 30 seconds simply cannot be expressed. For that, you'll reach for system timers later, or a script that loops on its own. Once you've got the 5 fields under your belt, Cron rewards you with 8 shortcuts for the schedules you'll write most often: a daily, a hourly, a weekly. They all expand to a fixed expression with zeros in the minute and hour, so they always fire at the top of the period. Reach for them when readability wins and the timing genuinely matches. Skip them when you need a precise minute or when you're spreading load across a fleet, because every daily on every server fires at exactly midnight, together. And a reboot is the odd one out, not a schedule at all, just a one-shot at startup. Now, the shortcuts are the easy part. The grammar itself is where things get interesting, because you can stack these symbols, and most of the time it just works. Take a step inside a range like 9-17-2. Start at 9, jump by 2, stop at 17. Comma separate ranges and cron unions them, which is how you get clean week 1 and week 3 patterns. But watch the third one. When you specify both day of month and day of week, cron fires on either match, not both. That OR catches almost everyone exactly once. So why did Cron stick with this cryptic little syntax instead of evolving into something more expressive? 3 reasons. The alphabet is finite: 5 fields, a handful of symbol shapes, and every job that's ever been scheduled fits inside that grid with exactly one meaning. The parser is trivial: a few hundred lines of C that have run unchanged since 1975, and the fields themselves match how humans actually think about time: minutes, hours, days, months, weekdays. Cron isn't quirky. It's just honest about the calendar on your wall. And here's the payoff: every shape, every range, every shortcut condensed onto one page. On the left, the 5 syntactic shapes you'll ever write: a number, a star, a list, a range, and a step. In the middle, the legal values for each field, including the quirk that Sunday is both 0 and 7. And on the right, The named shortcuts plus the one trap that catches everyone. When you set both day of month and day of week, Cron treats them as OR, not AND. Print it, tape it up. You won't need it for long. Now it's your turn. 3 exercises, ramping from comfortable to genuinely tricky. The first is a health check ping every 15 minutes, but only during business hours. The second runs a report 3 times a workday using a list and a range together. And the third, that's the day of month and day of week trap from Gotcha 3. Predict what the expression does before you test it. And don't be surprised when crontab.guru disagrees with you. Before you go off and write your own, here are the 5 mistakes everyone makes on day 1. Listing every 15th minute instead of using a step. Spaces inside a list, which Cron treats as field breaks. Step values that don't divide 60 cleanly, leaving you with a ragged gap at the top of every hour. Out-of-range numbers like hour 25, and the day of month plus day of week trap, where Cron reads, or when you meant and. Each of these has cost someone a weekend. Now they won't cost you one. And that's lesson 3. You can now look at any cron line in the wild and decode it on site. 5 shapes, 8 shortcuts, ranges, and steps that compose, and the day of month or day of week quirk that catches everyone. Next up, lesson 4. We go deep on step values and ranges, building real schedules for business hours, jitter, and spreading load across a fleet. See you in the next deck.